Hey guys, welcome to my channel. As you can already tell from the title of this video, you already know what this video is going to be about. But before we jump into it, if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button to make sure you're caught up on all my videos. Alright, let's get into it. So for this video, my husband had the brilliant idea of doing like an interview style, video to talk about this whole topic, right? And so he is behind the camera and he's going to be asking me a couple questions, and I don't know, I haven't seen any of these questions. He hasn't told me what the questions are, so y'all will be getting my initial response in real and raw format.
All right, so player reaction, don't filter anything, just act like we're having a conversation.
All right, director.
All right, cool. So, what was your path to becoming an engineer? And did you always want to be an engineer?
That's a good question. So, my path to becoming an engineer, I feel like I didn't always want to be an engineer. At first, I think, obviously when you're a kid, you have all these other, I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to be something else. But from high school is when you start taking, your career goals a little bit more seriously. And so initially I wanted to become a doctor. I did the whole volunteering thing and getting to see different areas, and just realized that I did not want to be in a hospital setting. I hated it all, so I was like, scratch that. And then I went to an engineering camp one summer at UT Austin, actually, and I was like, this is actually pretty interesting. And at the time I was taking AP chemistry and I really liked it, and so I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to choose chemical engineering as my path, because I was like, I'm already good at chemistry, I'm already good at math, obsessed with math. I still am. And so I was like, yeah, I think chemical engineering is what I'm gonna choose. Ended up doing that at Texas A&M. Whoop. Yeah. I haven't done that in a while. Oh my god.
Okay. So you graduated with an engineering degree from Tech 10, and you start your job working full time. Mm-hmm. What was your favorite thing about your job as an engineer?
So, favorite thing about my job, I would say being given a problem, right? And I guess the satisfaction of figuring out that problem, obviously saving the company money if that's what it was. Just, I guess, using that technical side of my brain to solve a problem. That would be one of the things I feel like I felt was the most rewarding when I did certain projects and things like that. But besides that, this is unrelated to the engineering aspect. My favorite thing, hands down, in my whole career was recruiting and getting to talk to young engineers in college and, encouraging them into getting into engineering, mentoring some of them. Some of them I still talk to till today. And just I guess being that face that was very little in terms of just black female engineering, black female engineers, being a representative of what that looks like in the energy industry and just in the workforce in general, and trying to, I guess, encourage others to become engineers. That was probably my favorite part of my career.
So you mentioned energy industry. Mm-hmm. Was that always a goal for you, or did you just happen into that?
I feel like that was just what I knew. My dad was an engineer. He worked in oil and gas for 30-something years. So that's just what I was exposed to. That's what I had the most exposure to. So that's just what I felt comfortable in getting into. And I knew the money was good compared to some of these other industries, not gonna lie.
How did you get started on your side hustle as an influencer and a beauty mogul?
You think I'm a beauty mogul?
Yes.
Thanks. I started in college. That's actually the same time I started even getting into beauty in general. I never wore makeup. The only makeup I wore previous to college was eyeliner and lip gloss. So I really started getting into makeup and beauty in general when I was in college. When I started watching YouTube videos. This is back when, like, I don't need to age myself, but this is back in like 2011, 2010, those years when YouTube was still very new. Yeah, that's how I kind of started getting into beauty. And then obviously with watching YouTube videos and just getting inspired, I decided to create my own channel, which I still have right now when you're watching. So actually, this is a quiz. If you've been watching me for a while, what was my first YouTube name? Put it down below in the comments. I'll say it if I remember at the end of this video. But yeah, obviously I changed my name since then. But yeah, I started creating videos, started doing like hair tutorials, and just kind of kept at it inconsistently for the past 10 years, almost 11.
Now that you've made the plunge into doing this full time, what made you come to the realization that you were ready to do this?
I decided that I was going to leave my 9-to-5 a few years ago, I would say about 5 years ago. So like I said, I work in the oil and gas energy industry, and about 5 years ago we had this like huge layoffs at actually all of the oil and gas companies around, because oil prices tanked. Like they went from like 100 all the way to, I think the bottom was like 30, maybe even like high 20s at that point. And so all these companies had to do these massive layoffs. And so that was my first time experiencing layoffs, after graduating college. Again, this was like 2015, 2016. This was 2015, 2016. And I saw all of I'm not even joking, like literally probably 95% of all my friends that I had at work, all of them were let go. And it was just a really tough period, because I'm just like, wait a minute. So just because I have a degree and I'm doing good at my job, I can still get let go and like not make anything and have to start looking, all over again for a new job. It was just like an eye-opening experience, not only for me, but also for my husband, because he's also in the oil and gas industry. So I was at that point that we realized like, oh no, we cannot rely on any one like source of income. We have to figure out, how to make extra income. And that's how we started doing the real estate stuff and buying income properties. And then that's also when I started like really taking this content creation stuff like super seriously and making it into the business that it is right now. And so that was back 5 years ago. I actually realized during that time, a little bit after, that like what I wanted out of my career and what I kind of went into this engineering career wanting wasn't necessarily what I was like getting when I kind of look back at it. I wanted to have a job where I could travel a lot, I could work on several projects, and just have more, I guess, exciting opportunities. And unfortunately, because of the way the industry was going, as well as the oil price tanking, and then also because of the specific role that I was in, or discipline I would say that I was in, I worked as a petroleum engineer. It just wasn't possible for me to get those opportunities. So like I wasn't really able to travel much at all, actually. And then like the international assignments that were available were like constantly getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So just in general, I just decided like, yeah, this is probably, I don't think this is what I'm meant to be doing. At least not something that's supposed to be doing forever. And so that's when I decided, I gotta figure something out. Got more serious with the content creation stuff. Got more serious with the investing and all that. And then, yeah, about 4 or 5 years later, I was able to officially take the jump. Which really wasn't a jump. It's more like but yeah. Oh, I feel like for me, my approach is a bit different from like some other people that I know in this space that have like taken the dive and gone full time with this. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably a scaredy cat, and this is probably why it took me a little bit longer than probably some other people to just take the plunge. But for me, I felt like I needed to get to a point where I knew that the pay I was getting was more consistent and more than what I was making at my original job. I probably started making more than what I make at my job like 2 years ago, but I wanted to be more, I guess, sure of the path I was going forward. I wanted to have a little bit more like structure to things as well. And so, I got management last year. I kind of got a better cadence of like everything last year, and so I think there was a point where I realized I was starting to make even more than what I make in my full-time job, and also realized that I don't have. If I really wanted to make exponentially more, I really needed to like focus 100% on it, and that's just something I couldn't do if I continued my full-time job. And so I think it was at that point that I realized, okay, I feel like I'm, number one, confident that I could do this full-time, and number two, I really see a better vision of like what this whole thing could be. And then three, I had like a better structure with management and all that going forward in this space. So yeah, those things.
All right. There's been a lot of talk of Great Resignation and how COVID played a role in a lot of people quitting their full-time jobs.
Yeah.
Now that you're officially a statistic, do you feel like
I'm a statistic?
You're a statistic.
I am.
Do you feel like the pandemic era led to your decision?
Yes, I feel like the pandemic gave me like that extra reason, in the sense of I don't want to go back to working in the office. If nothing else, probably that. Like, obviously, in the pandemic, the company that I used to work for, which I guess I can say now, I never really said it on camera, but I used to work for Chevron. We went completely remote. I think yeah, after a couple months of remote work life, I was like, yeah, I don't see myself ever going back to a physical office to like work. And then also during the pandemic, obviously 2020 was a rough year in general, but I did have a lot more time to create. And so as far as business wise, I saw like an exponential increase in my followers, and as well as like brand deals and opportunities there. So yeah, definitely pandemic played a part.
Awesome. So in your new endeavors, what does a day in Talani's work life look like?
A day in my life, I feel like it depends on the day, but on average I would say I wake up, drop the kids off in daycare, so they're both now in daycare. Come back, I probably, from the first hour or two, I kind of just get ready for if it's a Monday, I get ready for the week. I write down like all the stuff I need to do that day, all the stuff I need to do that week. And then after that, I usually start editing if I have like a brand deal due that week, or just some organic content that I want to put out there. I'll do all the editing typically in the morning, and then after that, if it's a shoot day, I will start shooting. So this is probably around like maybe 10 o'clock now. I'll start. My day starts at 6:30, by the way. Around 10 o'clock, I'll probably start doing like shooting content and whatnot, and then also trying to get all the stuff that I need to get posted. I usually start posting around that same time, sometimes later, sometimes like 1 o'clock. And then after that, I might do some emails towards the end of the day, like respond to some emails, check in with like my manager on anything outstanding stuff. And then after that, I just get ready for the kids, go back to mom life, make dinner, go pick them up, and then hang out with the kids until bedtime.
So in your new schedule and everything you just mentioned, what's your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing to do. It's not editing. Don't love editing. I guess just creating, just like thinking of content ideas, and creating. So I'm probably most active on TikTok and Instagram. I know y'all are probably like, girl, this girl don't even post on YouTube. What you talking about? I'm definitely more active. I get, as far as like brand deals, I get most of my brand deals on Instagram and TikTok. YouTube is like third place. But yeah, I create a lot of content on those platforms. And so my favorite thing is probably just like coming up with the ideas and like executing it.
All right. So obviously there are a lot of people who are working full-time jobs that have side hustles on the side, and they're hoping to achieve what you just did. Mm-hmm. What are the top 3 things or pieces of advice you would give to these up and coming, aspiring?
Top 3 things. The first thing I would say is to work on just bettering your craft, whatever it is. If your side hustle is content creation, if your side hustle is like, a small business where you're selling a certain good or product, just work on just bettering yourself in that space first and foremost, making sure that you're good at what you're doing, whatever your side. Second thing I would be like, write a goal down for yourself. Like, if you know you want to leave your job or your 9 to 5, whatever, write down, when you see that happening for yourself, write down all what you think it's going to take to get to that spot where you can leave. And then, once you have all that laid out, just go super hard, go 100%, and checking off all those lists, checking off of all those things that you know is going to take for you to get to that position. And for me, like I said, I felt like I needed to be super comfortable to take that jump. Like some people they don't even care, they just jump, they don't know what's on the other side, they just jump. But for me, I was definitely like, okay, I need to, build this ladder to cross, to cross to the other side. I'm not just gonna jump. So I feel like that's why I say, like, write down all the stuff that you need to do, write down every step you think you need to take before you get to that spot, and then just go 100% in taking all those stuff off. And then number 3, I would say, I guess on a financial side, just making sure that you're comfortable. You don't want to obviously be in a situation where you leave your 9 to 5 and then you're not able to sustain your life, your livelihood. You're not able to pay your bills and all. Nobody wants to deal with that. So definitely save enough money, and also just again, this goes back to me being not the one to just jump, but the one to build the ladder to cross over. Making sure that you're at a point where in your business you're making a certain amount of money that you can live off of. It doesn't have to be for me, it doesn't have to be more than what you were making at your job, like how I did. It could be 70% of it, it could be even 50% of it, whatever number you feel like is comfortable for you to live, pay your bills, and not be struggling, So yeah, those are my 3 things. Okay, let me answer the other one. So actually,
can you guys clap for her, please?
That's all the questions I had, guys. Peace out. All right, guys, that is the end of this video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. I hope this has inspired some of y'all. If you're also thinking about leaving your job or your 9 to 5, if you're unhappy with your 9 to 5 and you're working in your business, I hope this inspires y'all as well. And I think this video is probably going to be long, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it right here. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all again later. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.